the next question is, what is the purpose of a reflector? And I use reflectors here and there, especially like for bridal details. Hello. Because I like to fill those shadows. So let me just go ahead and just tell you, the purpose of reflectors is to fill in a shadow where light is not. So we all know that like light is constantly traveling, and whenever it hits something, light bounces because it's not going to stop. It's going to continue to travel. So I brought my reflector out here. I'm going to turn off all of my like other lights so you can see. Okay, so I have a window right here. You can see light is coming in. So light is traveling this way. And what a reflector does is it stops the light and then bounces it back in the direction that you're pointing the reflector. So if you can see, this is completely shadowed. If I put my reflector, right here, it fills in those shadows, okay? So there's a reflector gone. See a shadow on my face? And then magic. So because I shoot with my 85 a ton, I'm generally like really far back from my clients to get them like in full length. So shooting with a reflector, not pointless, but I just don't think that like it's gonna like bounce because I'm like 10 feet away. But when I'm shooting with my 50 or 35 and I'm like super close, this is how I do it. So I have my camera like with my right hand, and then I hold my reflector like this, and this is how I shoot. So that when the sun comes down, it bounces light back into my subject's face. Or if I'm doing bridal details and I set something up right here and the light's pouring in, I'm gonna just like, you know, rig my reflector to stay right here so that light is bouncing back into my images, my bridal details. And so that's how I get like those like airy images, is because like I'm making sure that I have a reflector to like bounce light back into it. Another thing that a reflector does, if let's say that you have found like the most beautiful location, but there's like sun like hitting your client's face, and for whatever reason you can't turn them or move them, you can get like an assistant or like a random Joe on the street, just be like, hey, can you hold this right here? And you're basically creating shade for them just for like a second. Or let's say that you're in a specific location and you for whatever reason can't move and you want to shoot there, and the sun is getting into your lens, and for whatever reason you can't move or fix it, then you can get someone to shade your camera. So all you have to do is say, hey friend, can you put this reflector to where whenever you see my camera, I'm in a shadow or I'm in the shade. And like I've only done that like maybe 2 or 3 times, but it does come in handy when you have like a reflector to just hold up and it'll like shade your lens, and that way you can get like that pretty sun filled background, but you don't have like that rainbow lens flare that kind of like ruins the image. So yeah, that's what a reflector does. It bounces light from where you want it to go, or it can like shade your client or your camera. So I kind of always like bring one with me just in case. So I hope that helps. Hey, Amy. Oh my God, I love the reflector demo. I just love you, Jess. Okay, here we go. Next question. Okay, this is a good one. How early in your business did you get childcare? Like as soon as I was able to. So is Miss Trish on here? Okay, so at the time we were going to Live Oak Church Mother's Day out, and I had just started photography, like just started trying to figure out the whole thing, and Joe was like 2 months old or something crazy, and the twins were 2. Joe had just been born. He was a couple months old, and I was just trying to figure stuff out. And one day she goes, hey, Brittany, like, we don't have anybody like in the baby room. If you just want to leave them for like a couple hours and like go like take a nap or whatever. And I'm like, really? Okay. And like I left Joe in his carrier with the diaper bag and I just like said, okay, thanks, bye. Because I was so tired and my mind was like set on like, I'm going to make this work. Anyways, so I got childcare like as soon as possible. And then like later on, I think they decided to take around like 4 months. So all of my kids have been in Mother's Day out this entire time. And like if you're trying to run a business, juggling kids, like it's just not going to be successful. You're going to be torn from your kids and from your business. So definitely like get that childcare, like figure out how much it is a month and make sure you hustle to get those extra sessions to pay for it. And you literally have like a couple hours a week just to get your work done. I literally couldn't do anything if my kids were home all day. So like even like Bonnie started Mother's Day out at 4 months old. And it's good for them. It's good for me. And whenever they're home, I can be mom. Like I shut off and I'm mom. And I don't have to like juggle as much. Now I will say in like my first year where I was like hustle, I would stay up really late, and I still do sometimes because I just have a lot to do and there's not enough hours in the day. But that's why I drink a lot of coffee. So I can like definitely encourage you and talk to you more about that if you have any more questions. Angela, okay, now do that again so I can watch. Are you making fun of me? Wait, the reflector demo? Okay, I will later. If that's even what you're talking about, let me know. Okay. Next question is, how do you get really good lighting with no harsh shadows? Okay. So a very easy lighting tip would be find open shade. And like, this is what I kind of like encourage, like all, like when you're beginning in your photography business or just trying to figure out photography in general, find open shade. And what I mean that is your client is in shade. You are also in shade, but when you look up, you're not under anything. So you're not under a tree or you're not under an overhang or anything like that. So it's basically like like that's why I say like golden hour is a really good time when you're just starting out and you don't want to like you know, dare yourself to do anything crazy. So like find a tree, and then like obviously the sun's here, so it's casting like this huge shadow. Shoot here. So like shoot in the open shade, and that way you're not gonna get these like crazy like sun like harsh shadows. So I think that's like my biggest advice and tip for like how to get really good lighting like on your subjects without causing like really harsh shadows. And then also like your reflector, like just they're super cheap. You get them on Amazon. I can send you a link. And just holding it under your camera will bounce light and fill in these shadows. I feel like I just need to hold this for the rest of the time just so I look better. Okay, so yeah, find open shade, and that's how you'll get really good light with no harsh shadows. Also, if you would not like harsh shadows, is always keep the sun to the back left or to the back right of your clients. That way the sun like is hitting them in the hair and not in the face, and that way like you won't have to do much editing in Lightroom if you have a harsh shadow. Also, shameless plug, my preset, it lifts the blacks and shadows like a ton. So even if I do have like a shadow here, like as soon as I apply my preset, like the shadows are just gone. Because that's just my style and what I like. But there's also other styles where like it's like all about the shadows and stuff.